less than a week now so the World Cup kicks off. I'm going to do this on my match day 1 predictions for each individual game. I'm going to do this. There's obviously 24 matches to be played in each round. So many teams in this extended World Cup format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this video in multiple parts. So I'm going to do groups A, B, C, and D today. So we've got 8 games to get through there. Of course, these are the first 16 teams that are playing in the tournament. Going to be predicting all the first games, all the opening kind of games, I suppose. So first 4 groups. So I have done a short on the channel, which I used one of the World Cup websites, so I put all the group stage predictions in. Then you obviously have to pick the third place teams, because the 8 best third place teams out of the 12 go through now as well. Of course, it's around the 32, then all the way to the finals, predicted all the way to the finals. So if you want to know my full World Cup predictions, there's a short on this channel that goes through all of that. If you want to see the group stage, knockout stage prediction for the winner in the final, all of that stuff, that's all on there. But this talking about the individual games. So the first game we've got Mexico kick us off as one of the 3 hosts. In Mexico City, they kick off against South Africa. So they're hosting their games, Mexico, so that's going to be big for them. Of course, this is the first game. This is to get us underway. Mexico, South Africa. So Mexico, a lot of people think they'll top this group. I would certainly agree with that. I think they've got. I think they'll top this group. I think they've got a very good chance to get into at least the knockout stage. In my predictions, I had them to meet England in that round of 16, where we'll play them in Mexico City, and that would be a really, really hard game. A lot of people have gone for them to at least get to that stage of this tournament, meeting England at that stage. I see a lot of people predicting that. I think that's quite likely, but of course, it's gonna, of course, they've got a lot of good team together. They've got Mexico, players like Alvarez, Jimenez, of course, as well. The goalkeeper as well has always been fantastic for them at the World Cup. His 5th World Cup now, one of the only 4 players that is still playing in this World Cup since the 2006 one, 20 years ago, which is massive. I think, and South Africa, very good in the qualifying, good in the African Cup of Nations. Done very, very well to get to the tournament. First time in a while since they hosted it, in fact, in 2010. I think they could, you can't write anyone off. I think I would at this moment have South Africa to be bottom of this group in terms of prediction. Although you can't definitely not writing them off at all. Would not be surprised if they pull off a shock, because we've seen it before. So I think Mexico start with the win at home. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Mexico win at home there. I think they'll have too much, and I think they'll get a good performance on the opening game. The other game in that group, in Group A, we of course have South Korea taking on Czech Republic. Looking forward to this game. I think this could be a really good game. I think this could be one of the games all around, actually. I think this is both very good teams. I think both could have a good tournament here. I think, in terms of my prediction, I think a lot of people going for South Korea to go for in second. I actually think Czech Republic might do it. I was really impressed with Czech Republic, the way they qualified, the way they went through the playoffs, beating Ireland and Denmark. I thought that was really, really impressive in that, and I think they could have a good tournament here. I think they could go a few rounds into the knockout stage. I think they could have a decent tournament, Czech Republic, and I think South Korea, definitely, if they are third, I think they'll definitely have them as one of the third place teams to go through. Could even get second place. I do think it's going to be between them 2 though for the second place. So I think this game could be very key early on. So in terms of prediction, I'm going to go for a draw, and I think it could be an entertaining draw as well. I think there's 2 really good sides. South Korea, they're very good, very strong in qualifying as well. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I think it could be a good game there. Canada, of course, that's in the next group. This is in Group B now. Of course, Canada, another host nation. They're hosting their first game as well in Toronto, and they're taking on Bosnia and China. So Bosnia are a team that qualified really well through the playoffs as well. I was really impressed with them in the UEFA playoffs. Of course, beat Wales, but then they went to beat Italy and comfortably beat Italy on penalties, and that was really, really impressive from them, of course. So they've qualified really well, and I think they're a team that have improved so much over the last few seasons, over the last few years. I think improvement's been massive, and I think the way I see this group panning out, I see Switzerland winning it, I see Qatar not having enough, finishing 4th, but I do think, again, battle for second place I could see. and both of them could still end up going through second and third. But I very much see it could well come down between Bosnia and Canada for second. A lot of people favouring Canada, although I've got a feeling the way Bosnia have played in the playoffs, I've got a funny feeling they could do it. I really like them. Canada, they're a good, their host nation. They've got a lot of good players. There's not been overly convincing in their friendlies. They haven't had that competitive football as much as other teams that have had to qualify have had. But as a host nation, they could be strong. I definitely think if they was to be third, like my prediction, I did have them as one of the third place teams going through. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there. I think Canada being the host will play a part. But I think Bosnia are a very, very good team, and I think they'll find a way to take something from this game. The other game in that group is, of course, Qatar against Switzerland. I think Switzerland are a really good side these days. I think they've really established themselves as a really experienced nation now. They always cause the big teams problems. They always go pretty far in these tournaments. They're usually in the quarterfinals sort of stages, there or thereabouts. Last few tournaments they've done really well, caused some upsets. They've really sort of, at this stage, they're really like one of the sort of recognised international teams out. They're always there. Qualified so well, and the draw they've got here reflects that. I think they've got a group here that I think they'll top. I think they'll beat Qatar. Qatar, I think they'll finish bottom of this group. I'm not sure they're going to do too much this time round. They didn't really do much as a host. When there was the host, they didn't really see a good performance from them. I don't think we will this time round. Again, it's good for them to qualify, obviously, but I think this is a very, very tough group. I'm going for a 2-0 Switzerland win. I think they'll start with the win, and I think they'll start strong and keep that consistency going. So that's what I'm thinking for Group A and B. In terms of Group C now, with a bit of a group of death here, because of course we've got Brazil, Morocco and Scotland. Really harsh draw for Haiti, I think. But although they've done well just to qualify, there's been a massive thing for them just to qualify. But I would not write off any of these sort of the nations that no one expects anything from. Could be dangerous. You never know. They could have some tactical plan. There could be a few surprise results. However, I think, like I say, Haiti in a really tough group here. So we'll start with Brazil against Morocco, because I think this game's really going to be really big in terms of who tops this group. I think first and second, I very much think it'll be one of these two. It could all come down to who wins this game. I mean, in theory, now you can lose the first two games and then still go through if you win the last one as a third place team. But it's a very different sort of format to what we've been used to in terms of the World Cup. It'll be a lot. We'll see a lot more teams going through. We've got around 32 now. Brazil, when they brought in Ancelotti, love Ancelotti, top manager, top class, one of the best of all time. When they brought him in, I was thinking maybe this will be the World Cup they finally win. They're not going in as the favourites this time, as they have done in all previous tournaments, and they've disappointed. Gone out of the quarter-final stage, got beat really heavily by Germany. All of these disappointing results Brazil have had in years gone by in the World Cup, going in as the favourites. Under Ancelotti this time round, fairly young team as well, mostly. I did wonder maybe could this be the one when they're not still under the spotlight, but not quite so much as they was last time round. Everyone picking them as winner. Maybe they could. This be the year they do it. They did have that friendly, of course, against France back in March, where they lost, and I think that kind of shown that was a bit of a kind of maybe. I looked at that, maybe thought they could. Maybe they're still a step below the top nation, the team like France. Maybe they're a tournament too early for them. But then although under Ancelotti, I thought anything was possible. The only thing my only problem with Brazil is, and the only reason I'm not sure they're going to do as well as I would have initially predicted, is I'm not a fan of the squad selection. As much as I love Ancelotti, I don't think they've got the squad selection right here. I think Richarlison should be there. I think João Pedro should definitely be there. Estevao injured is a massive blow for them as well. I look at them and I think they've got a very, very good structure. They've got a quality team, quality manager. I just worry where the goals are going to come from. Do you think, have they got enough goals? I know that Igor Thiago, fantastic player. You see the goals he scored for Brentford this season, but I think they could have had a lot more and a lot more options off the bench as well. And if bringing João Pedro would have given them the option to play an alternative kind of system and formation almost as well, and it's a game changer. Even if you didn't start, a game changer off the bench as well. So I think they they might have made an error there. I would say that. And I think calling up Neymar and Vinicius Junior, I wasn't a fan of, particularly Neymar, who's a doubt whether he's even going to be able to play in the tournament because of his injury. So I think they've gone for the sort of historical players in terms of the players that have done well for the national team before. I think they really should have looked at. João Pedro and Richarlison should definitely be there. Morocco, really, really good side. A team from there's 10 teams from Africa in this World Cup. Some very good African nations. ball we've ever had in a single World Cup before. Two standout ones for me, definitely Morocco and Senegal. Played in the final of the African Cup of Nations. Morocco were wrongly handed the trophy months after Senegal officially won it. So I think a lot of people will sort of remember that coming into this tournament facing Morocco, and I think Senegal will come into it with that sort of hunger as well. So almost sort of, I think they could really be, want to prove a point. Morocco, last World Cup, they got so far on that, got to semi-final with that fantastic run with that defensive structure, stopping Spain scoring, then stopping Portugal scoring, falling short against France. Fantastic through the group stage as well. Stopped Croatia scoring in the group stage as well. So that's, and I think they've got to have a bit more to say for themselves going forward, perhaps this time. I think one of the two out of Morocco and Senegal, I think, could make the quarterfinals at least. I think one of the two big African nations out of those two is going to have a real good run in this World Cup. Could well be Morocco. Could Morocco top this group? I definitely think it's possible if they can get a result here against Brazil. And that I'm going to say they do. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think this will be a draw. I think Morocco will defend well. I think Brazil, like I said, I think this will be a real test for them. Will they have the goals in them? We're going to find out. Now, Scotland play Haiti, of course, right? Scotland have been so impressive. Look how good they've been in their warm-up games. I think Steve Clarke's done fantastic for them. Should have called McBurney up, but I still don't think goals are an issue for them. We see Shankland, how good he's been over the course of the season. I think they've got a lot of players now playing at a top level. McTominay, they've got so many good players, Scotland now, and I think they've improved so much over the recent years. Very good in qualifying. And they was also fantastic in these warm-up games they played as well. 4-1 win against Krakow, and they beat someone else really heavily yesterday as well. So Bolivia 4-0. So coming into this, I think they will get a win here against Haiti. Sometimes Scotland, they don't always perform as well as they should in tournaments. They've not made a World Cup since 1998 as well, so this is huge for them. And I think they've got a very good chance here. I, at the moment, have them to go through as a third place team. So, and I think they could have a bit of a run in this World Cup. I think they'll start here against Haiti. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Scotland win. Really impressed with them at the moment. I'm thinking they're going to continue that good form coming into the tournament. So that's what I'm thinking for Group C for the opening games. Now I'm going to do Group D, and I'm going to leave it there for today to not make this too long. So the United States, another host nation, they take on Paraguay. Now, this group for me, because the other two in this group, you've got Australia and Turkey to play each other as well. Now, the thing with this group is I think you can make an argument for any one of these four winning it. I think it's probably the most open group in the whole tournament. If it was to finish in any order, I don't think it will be an absolutely huge shock, as in the way it would be in like another group. I think it's very much United States are favourites. A lot of people think they'll top this group. I'm not sure they will. I think they will get through, even if it's a third place team. At least I think they're going to get through to the knockouts this time round, and I think they've definitely got the potential for a good run. You feel like if they're ever going to have a really good World Cup, it's going to be this one, being the host. They've got a really good team together. Pochettino, good manager. However, from what I've seen of the sort of friendlies they've played over the last few years, they're very much hit and miss. There's some very good performances there and some very poor ones as well. Historically, the World Cup, they've had teams before that have maybe not done as well as they should, or they've not got the best record. But I do think they could have a good... the potential's there, I will say that. But Paraguay's going to offer a real test here. People will look at this, and I think most people will go, if the United States win, I think Paraguay could do something here. I think Paraguay are a really dangerous team. I think they're a team that they'd be one of my picks for a surprise nation in this tournament. The teams I think could really surprise, I think Paraguay right up there. They're one of them, for sure. Really good in qualifying, and could definitely cause United States problems. I wouldn't be surprised if Paraguay top this group. I could see a real battle between them and Turkey to win this group. That's what I went for with my predictions. If you do watch that video, you'll see that that's the order I went for. I went for Paraguay winning. I actually went for Paraguay winning the group. I had Turkey second, United States third, but going through, and then I did have Australia fourth. And I really do think that any one of them could go through. The potential's there for any one of them to get through. So in United States Paraguay, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there. I think that'll be a draw. And as for Turkey Australia, I think this one's going to be a good game as well. I think Australia, they were good in qualifying. I had them bottom of this group. I think they might fall short against the other three here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they was to still do something. I think they're a very good team. I think they had a very good World Cup last time out. I'm not sure they'll be as strong as that this time round, but I definitely think they could do well still. I I think they could cause everyone. I think they'll give a good game to all the teams in this group at the very least, even if they do fall short. But Turkey, in qualifying, were very consistent, beating all the teams that they should beat. If you look at the results they've had over recent years, they've won all the games you'd expect them to win, Turkey, which is a lot more than you could say about them in previous years, where they've historically underperformed in qualifying or in tournaments. And they had a very good Euros last time out. We've got some top players now. I think they'll get the win here. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Turkey will get the win. I'm going to back them for the win. I'm going to say a 2-1 Turkey win. So that's what I'm going for the first 4 groups. So I'm going to leave that there today. Parts 2 and 3 will be coming soon. This is part 1. Part 2 next. We'll be looking at the next set of group games. I know for the top of my head, I think Germany, all those teams will be the next ones to do. So we'll leave it there for now.